Well, I wrote it when I was 16, and especially at that point in life, that's just when you're trying to figure yourself out. I mean, I'm still definitely in that process, but I first and foremost wrote it just because that was something that I needed to hear. At that time, when I wrote it, it was on one of my trips to Nashville a few months after I was actually recovering from spinal surgery because I had scoliosis, which I knew that because your spine is shaped like an S. By the way, I had scoliosis. It starts with an S. It's also what your spine looks like when you have it. So it was corrective surgery for that, and that was, especially at the age of 16, that was a big learning experience for me. Of course, physically, it's a very long and big recovery, but I was surprised by the mental effect that it had on me, in the way that it took definitely some time for me to start feeling like myself again. At the age of 16, you already don't really know what yourself feels like. So I spent a ton of time out of school, lost a lot of weight, got taller because my spine was straightened out. It felt really weird. So then I was coming back to school, and I was coming back to Nashville to write, and I was having to learn how to own the person that I was in that moment. And so that was kind of what I needed to hear, but I also think people should have fun coming to terms with who they are. I don't think it always needs to be this heavy thing. It's just a journey, and there's all sorts of feelings involved, and so that's kind of where the feeling of Own It came from. And a lot of my writing is inspired from that experience. I really think that social media can either be a really positive or really negative thing. Kind of. Some people look down upon my generation's use of it, just because it can be a lot, and it can be a place where you portray only the best parts of your life, and that causes insecurity in other people, and it can be a bad cycle. So it's really important to me to use it in a positive light, and that's kind of part of why I wanted to incorporate it so much into my Own It music video too, just to kind of showcase the positivity, that anything can be used for positivity. But I've definitely, since I decided to start posting photos without makeup and of my surgery scar, I've gotten a lot of really cool stories from people in the comments or in my DMs of just whether it's someone who's struggled with acne for a while, which I have. You may not be able to tell right now because I applied my makeup with a paint roller today, but it's there. And people who just saw it and were that's inspired me to start wearing makeup less. Or I've gotten stories from people who had the same back surgery that I had, who were in recovery when they saw the post about my scar or something and read the story and were this inspired me to get through it. And it's cool just because that's what I always hope to do, but it's very half and half. Half to hopefully inspire other people, and half because that's being open about my insecurities and flaws is really the best way that I know how to come to terms with it. So it's good. It's fun. So I just knew that I wanted to incorporate social media into the video. I wanted to, because that's kind of where I live and a tool that I use to get myself across, and want to encourage other people to use to get really who they are across into the world and become comfortable with that. Like I said, just to use it in a positive light. And so that was the main thing that I wanted to incorporate into the video. And so that's kind of what we're putting out when we were searching for treatments and for who we wanted to do the video. I knew I wanted it to be different, and so we got this treatment for the video back from a very small video production company in Peoria, Illinois, called Green Shoe Studios, and they were the ones that had the idea to shoot it vertically, so that when you watch on your phone, it's really confusing because you think that someone's in your phone, but really cool. And so we got that back, and I was like, yes, that is what I want to do. Really wish I thought of that myself, but they nailed it. And so me and my manager just flew down to Peoria for one day, and I basically just got to dance around in various locations in various outfits, including onesies. And they filmed me and did a bunch of cool stuff in post, and that's kind of how it came out. I especially love that it was done by such a little company that people may not necessarily know the name of yet, because I just the more cool, talented people that I can bring with me if I have any success is the better.